it's party time. My golf story brought to you by Party Drinks. Classically designed golf drinks for golfers by golfers. And the golf real estate pros Gene Walsh and Vince Visicaro. For your Southwest Florida real estate needs, check them out at suncoastdreams.com. Now here's your host, Kevin Walsh.
Hey, what's going on? We got another really good show for you today. Like father, like son. We had Jim Roy on not too long ago, and now we're going to have his son, Kevin, on. Talk about following in your dad's footsteps or maybe creating your own footsteps. The story of the Roys and their place in the game of golf, professional golf, amateur golf, is really incredible. And on top of that, they're my neighbors in the Lakewood Ranch area just outside of Sarasota. Before we go any further, if you could do me a big favor, one of the things that newly starting podcasts always ask for is if you could hit the subscribe and the like button, because the bean counters at YouTube pay very close attention to that. And ultimately, analytics are important for future sponsorships and also for payment. So, and if you like the podcast, and I know you do, or you wouldn't be watching, and it's growing astronomically, just share it with somebody else and ask them to do the same. Big thanks to our title sponsors, Party Drinks. If you're looking for a good drink alternative on the golf course and you're tired of all of those seltzers or beer or whatever it is that you're having, try a Party. It's for golfers, by golfers, super smooth. It'll help you get your buzz on too. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. For a list of the different places where you can find Party on different golf courses across America and especially in Florida, check out drinkparty.com. And a big shout out to Noah Zelnick at Moccasin Wallow. Go see Noah. He's a big fan of it. He's a good player, and he was a past guest as well. And also a big thanks to the real estate pros from Fine Properties, suncoastdreams.com. If your dream is to live on a golf course or in a golf resort community, nobody better to help you out with that than Vince Visicaro and Gene Walsh. You can check them out at suncoastdreams.com, or you can call them at 941-220-4000. All right. So now that we got the housekeeping out of the way, we bring Kevin Roy on board. Kevin, what's going on and where are you joining us from?
Yeah, not too much. First of all, thanks for having me on. I'm about 10 minutes away from you. I'm in Lakewood Ranch, Florida. My wife and I just built a house, and I'm in my my little man cave here. It's not a bad little spot, a little TV, kind of hanging out. Good place to kind of just unwind, especially after a long day on the golf course, and perhaps maybe have a cocktail or two. So, just hanging out.
Looking cool. So if I want to come over and hang out in your man cave, do you give me the secret code, or can I sort of bribe or buy my way in bringing Party, and then maybe I can stick some of those on the shelves next to what you have already?
I got plenty of space. I would love to put some Party up here. It's a open welcome to come on in. We love having people over. So yeah, Party is. I got plenty of space for those.
Okay, that's a deal. I got some Party coming your way. Hey, just to start, just to get things rolling, let's have some fun. You and your wife, Annie, are walking down the street. Who's more likely to be recognized, you or her?
I'm gonna have to give that to her. She is she's pretty well known in the Tampa area, as well as Sarasota. She one of her first gigs was up in Tampa on the I want to say the NBC affiliate up in Tampa. So she is I'm going to give that one to her, no doubt. There's been times where we've been kind of walking around Hyde Park or having dinner or something, and someone always comes up and says, "Oh, are you Annie Sabo?" And I've had one encounter I think I can remember. I was actually waiting for Annie to pick me up at the Tampa International Airport, and some younger kid came up and asked me, "Are you Kevin Roy on the PGA Tour?" And I was like, "Yeah, that's me." But that was the first and only time that's ever happened to me. But she definitely gets recognized a little bit more, especially if we're up in the Tampa area.
Yeah. Well, it seems like she and I have had a similar trajectory in life. Golf is an important part of our life. She marrying you, but with broadcasting and professional sports, and also being the daughter of Chris Sabo. Now, I remember Chris as the third baseman on the Cincinnati Reds, going way back when he was wearing the rec specs and had the muscles. Man, was he an intimidating guy. Good player, too. 3-time All-Star, won a World Series with the Reds. First of all, how did you meet Annie, and what was it like going to their house? Because I would think having Chris looking back at you might be a little bit intimidating.
Yeah, I mean, it's first of all, he's an unbelievable guy, and he's a really good golfer as well, which is awesome. But Annie and I, we had it's actually a pretty funny story. I'll try to make it somewhat short, but I met Annie through a mutual friend, just kind of out in the Tampa area. We were kind of out, I guess, day drinking a little bit and having some fun, and we were at like a U-shaped bar, and I was with one of my buddies, and she was on the other side with a couple of her friends and my buddy who introduced us. And I had the courage to go over there and introduce myself to all of them. And Annie actually at the time was talking to somebody else. So I was like, all right, cool. I got her number that night. And I went home that night. I told my two buddies I was with, I was like, I'm going to marry that girl one day. And we'll fast forward 8 months later. I'm in Arizona for final stage of qualifying school. I want to say this is probably 2018. That same buddy texted me and goes, hey, you have no idea who wants to hang out when you get home. Tournament ended on a Saturday. I flew home and landed, and I went to Hyde Park in Tampa, and it was Annie, and she wanted to hang out again. And so long story short, I show up, and it was kind of somewhat a little awkward at the first, seeing her again and this and that. And I was just casually sitting there, and she kind of came up and asked me if I am still interested in her. And I was a little nervous and kind of shy at the time. And I was like, yeah, I mean, I think you're a very, pretty girl. And she grabbed both my knees and kissed me. And ever since then, we've been together. We dated for a couple years, and I proposed to her when she was working for the Minnesota Twins up in Minnesota. And we just passed 2 years of marriage in December, and we have a little 7-month-old daughter now, Mia, and just built our first house together. So kind of a crazy story. It's, not many people believe me that I told my buddies that I was going to marry this girl. And then we fast forward, we didn't speak for 8 months. And then all of a sudden she came around again, and here we are.
That's a great story. Love the details too. I love her taking initiative and you following up. And I got to tell you, brother, you outkicked your coverage.
I sure did. There's no doubt about that. She's beautiful. She's amazing. She's an awesome mom, awesome wife, and one of my biggest supporters of what I do. And I try to support her as much as I can. What she does, it's we have a great relationship, and couldn't ask for anything better.
That's awesome. So life is good, but you're home. You started off the season on the Korn Ferry Tour, got off to a really good start, and 4 out of 4 cuts. How do you feel about your game right now?
Yeah, game feels really good. It was kind of for me, it was a little interesting going into the first event, with kind of the holidays, and then moving into our house and trying to get all settled. So I didn't really have a lot of normal preparation, I would call it, going into Exuma, the first event down in the Bahamas. But, I guess, sometimes that's better for me. Maybe, the golfers out there would understand a little bit. Sometimes over practicing is not great. But, I got a couple of rounds in with my dad and, had some practice. But I was playing good. I felt good with my golf swing. I was doing a lot of good work with the guy I work with up in Tampa at Old Memorial, Dustin, and yeah, so it's a kind of a quote unquote dream start to the Corn Ferry Tour season. It's kind of put me in a position to at least take the next 2 weeks off and kind of spend some time with the family before we once we get back to the States. It's kind of a full throttle with a bunch of weeks in a row. But I got no complaints about the start of the season so far.
Yeah, fantastic. Kevin Roy is our guest. He is on the Corn Ferry Tour, played the PGA Tour last year. He is the son of Jim Roy. Jim is one of my neighbors at Lakewood National Golf Club. We'll get into your relationship with the different neighbors at Lakewood National Golf Club. So tell me about unplugging when you get home. Like, do you put the clubs on the shelf for a couple of days? Walk me through how you unplug.
Yeah, so I actually played in a little pro-am down in Fort Myers today, and it was the first time I swung a club since I got home from Colombia, which is probably about a week ago. So didn't touch a club for a week. I was just trying to spend as much time with Annie and Mia as much as I can, just because I know kind of once the season starts, I'll kind of be gone for a lot. So. Yeah, when I unplug, I like to get away. I like to, like I said, spend as much time with them. We took her to the zoo. We kind of just find some things to do. Whether the weather hasn't been great. We're trying to plan a little beach day with her for her first trip to the beach. But yeah, when I get away, it's about as away as it gets. It's not much golf at all. If my dad or my brother or someone wants to maybe play around a golf, I will. But like I said, I haven't touched a club since Colombia. I haven't seen the range. Just been kind of hanging out with them and spending as much time as I can with them.
I would too. Sounds like you're trying to have more fun, not just so you're wearing it, which is a groovy hat. I'll tell you that, but there's a story behind it that is, sometimes we forget about having fun and realizing this is a game we play because you play it for a living. When did you start wearing that hat and why?
This was probably back, it was middle to beginning of 2 years ago on the Corn Ferry Tour. We started off in the Bahamas again. The first event, I actually flew to the Bahamas and then tested positive. Couldn't play for COVID. Couldn't play in the tournament. Had to sit in a hotel room for 7 straight days. Couldn't fly home or anything. It was the longest 7 days of potentially my life. And then finally was tested negative and was able to fly the next week. And I finished 4th. And then I proceeded to go on and miss 7, I think, of my next 8 cuts. And to be honest with you, I just hit a wild low point in golf. Didn't know if I really wanted to play anymore. I had all these doubts. Is this what you want to do? Maybe you're getting older. You maybe find a job. You're getting married. This and that, and I think it was a call from above, to be honest with you. I was sitting in a hotel room in I think maybe Wichita, Kansas or something, scrolling through Instagram, just kind of in the dumps. And one of the ads came up and it was literally this ad right here, have more fun. And it was a call, I think.
What was the reaction? What was the reaction when people saw it? Were they like, Kev, what's up? You all right?
Yeah, no, I was, obviously I think that, my team, if you will, my closest people to me, my fiance, Annie at the time was my fiance, my parents, my brother, my sister. I think they all kind of knew, like, I was down in the dumps. There's no other way to put it. I was at a low point in this game of golf, and I wanted to quit. I didn't know if I really wanted to play anymore, and I saw this hat, and it was the easiest, quickest $80 I've ever spent. Overnighted it to the hotel room, and I wore it for the rest of the season, and then continued to wear it for the first however many events on the Corn Ferry Tour till I started working with ReliaQuest. But I still try to if you will, have more fun on the golf course. And it's not even just on the golf course. I try to take it off the golf course as well. I mean, at the end of the day, it's golf. It's a sport. I'm starting to realize it now that I've been working with a mental coach that, I got a lot of great things in my life. I have an, amazing wife, amazing daughter, amazing family. If golf doesn't work out, it's not the end of the world. So,
it's perspective. That's what it is.
Yeah. So it worked that year. I ended up getting my tour card. It was, just kind of changed my whole outlook, to be honest with you, just on life in general, not just the golf. It was I just tried to enjoy it more, on and off the course.
Yeah, that's great. That's great perspective. We all need that at different times. And, plus it looks pretty good. I mean, I could see, like, if I was doing like a little day drinking, as you said, or a darty, I might put that on and it just like elevates the psychology of it.
It's a good hat. It's kind of funny after it kind of blew up on social media from me wearing it when I got my tour card. The company's called Melon, shout out to Melon. I actually still wear their hats. It's a Melon hat that says Rely Quest on the front, but they sent me a couple different colorways. So I have a good stock here at home. So when I'm not in a tournament, not wearing Rely Quest, I'm rocking the Have More Fun quite a bit, to be honest.
Good for you. Hey, take me back to the beginning. Where does your golf story begin? Who put a club in your hand? How'd you get started? Where was it?
Yeah, I mean, it was certainly my dad, up in Syracuse, New York. It's where I grew up at a country club called Bellevue Country Club, Donald Ross design, great course. Unfortunately, I don't get up there too much anymore, but it was 100% my dad. He was obviously a very accomplished golfer in his own right, and he never pushed any one of his kids, my older brother or me or my sister, into golf. He just kind of, if we liked it, he was there for us. I played a bunch of different sports growing up, but yeah, I mean, I was kind of one of those kids that would just kind of go to the golf course. I was, always, in the creeks, kind of playing with frogs, kind of doing crazy stuff, and I think one day he went home and told my mom that it's like, hey man, this kid's got some talent. He always seems to hit it on the insert. And, he's, to this day, he's my biggest supporter. But yeah, I mean, I got to give all the credit to my dad when it comes to, getting me into the game.
When did you know you were a good player?
That's a good question. I don't think I really took it like super serious till maybe, I would say maybe around 16 to 18. I like I said, I played a bunch of different sports growing up, basketball, baseball and golf were in the same season. And I chose golf over baseball. I would say, I kind of realized that I was decent at the game. I would say maybe around 16 or 17, 18-ish, when I, started winning a lot of like high school matches. And then, I kind of realized probably the summer, what year was it? It was one of the summers. It was, I won all three of the quote unquote Syracuse major amateur events. Two guys have ever done it, me and my dad. And I remember him, this was actually, I don't know, it was 2010. My dad was in Minnesota when I won the last one. And he called me from one of the Champions Tour events, and he was like, hey, welcome to the club. And that was a pretty cool phone call. And I kind of realized then, I was like, you know what, I think I should probably take this a little serious. And when it comes to turning pro, I never really thought about it. I thought it would be like a really cool idea, but I think I would say midway through my junior year at college, I was like, you know what, I kind of want to give this a shot. As I progressively, got better through college, and here we are.
Your dad has been an important part of your life, putting the golf club in your hand. And I imagine you aspire to what he has done, playing on the PGA Tour and the Senior Tour, PGA Tour champions, as we call it right now. Do you remember the first time you beat your dad?
I I don't know the exact time. It was roughly around 16 years old. And the only reason I remember that is because he had a bet with my brother and I all growing up is the first time we beat him, he'll buy us any set of clubs we wanted. And I want to say it took me till probably 15 or 16 years old till I, officially beat him on 18 holes. It's, tough for me to say. It was, that took me that long, but he was a good player.
What did you shoot?
I don't know the exact number. It was under par. He might have had a tough day, but it was, I definitely shot under par that day, played well. And I think I ended up getting a set of Titleist irons.
Ah, cool. What's your lowest round ever?
My lowest round ever, not in competition, is 59. My lowest competition round is 62.
Let's talk about the 59 because it just sounds sexier because it's 59. What happened?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it was actually at your home course there over at Lakewood National, the Commander course. It was a weird day. It was just me and my dad and my brother. He ended up, he was supposed to tee off, but work cut him late. I think he joined us on maybe the 5th or 6th hole, but it was just one of those days. I mean, I was hitting it really nice. I saw some putts go in. I eagled the first, I think I started off eagle, birdie, par, birdie or something like that, I think. And, out there, there's a lot of par fives that are super gettable. And, it was just one of those days. I saw a lot of putts go in, and I think my dad mentioned it on, I want to say 16, maybe. He mentioned something about 59, and I didn't want to say anything because obviously I knew what was going on. But
okay, stop for just a sec. Is the calculator going in your head? Do you know where you are at all times? Like, so if you're 8 under, or are you just playing? And because I hear different things from different players. Stuart Appleby told me about his 59. He said he never knew it because he was so far back that he thought he had to birdie every hole. And then when he birdied 18 at the Greenbrier, he asked Scotty, what was that for? He said 59. And he just won. What's your experience with knowing you're going low?
Yeah, that day I knew what was going on. There's definitely been some times in competition that, some of the better rounds I've had, I kind of blacked out, if you will, and didn't really know exactly what was going on, and just kind of was just plugging along. But the day I shot 59, I definitely knew what was going on, but everything was clicking. And the last hole over there at Lakewood National is a par 5, and I hit a perfect drive, and I hit a beautiful hybrid up there to about, 30 feet, maybe just off the green, and it actually lipped out for 58. And it was the easiest couple incher 59 putt I've ever had. So that day I definitely knew what was going on. Super happy to have pulled it off, especially with my brother and my dad in the group. But there's definitely times, I as of late, especially now that I've been working with a mental coach, that I've kind of I call it blackout a little bit of, not really knowing what I'm at or keeping track of what I'm at, or knowing, just kind of playing it like a one shot at a time kind of thing.
Well, were you nervous at all knowing that, because there is trouble on the 18th hole on the Commander course, there's water, right? There's some out of bounds, or are you just in a real comfortable place and it's just automatic?
Yeah, I mean, I was pretty comfortable out there. Like I said, I obviously knew what was going on, but I had a favorable wind, a little down off the right, so I knew if I just put a good swing on it, at least it'd be on dry land. So ended up hitting a really good drive and playing the hole about as good as you can. So I probably had the most butterflies I've ever had standing on a tee box with not really much on the line at all that round. But like I said, I was super happy to pull it off, especially with those guys in the group.
Does your dad still beat you from time to time?
He can, for sure. It depends on what tees he plays. if he plays the tees that he'll probably call me as soon as he hears this. But if he plays the tees he should play, it's a really good match. There's no doubt about that. If he plays all the way back with us, I'll take me probably 10 out of 10 times.
Okay, so what are the appropriate tees for him? Is it one?
Yeah, I wouldn't say
one back from. You're playing it all the way back.
Tees. It's probably one up. He's he's still a really good golfer. There's no doubt about that. And his short game's unbelievable. So, if he has a good driving day, there's no doubt he can compete from the tips. If he has a good driving day from one up, he's going to play well. He's going to shoot in the 60s. So yes, to answer your question, if he plays one up, it's going to be a great match. There's no doubt about it. Even if he has a so-so driving match, because his short game's so good. But if he's playing from the back tees and he's not hitting it great, then he's going to have a tough day.
Kevin Roy is our guest. He is the son of Jim Roy, who was a previous guest. If you haven't seen it, I suggest you go back and watch it. Our neighbors at Lakewood National absolutely love that. So I was trying to put some pressure on you. I'm like, hey, you got a lot to live up to, based on doing a great job here, Kev. Way to go. Way to go. Your relationship with him, and he caddies for you a lot. Explain to me the father-son dynamic and how it might change when he's working for you.
Yeah, I mean, my dad is to this day, my biggest supporter. He wants nothing but the best for me especially when it comes to golf. There's no doubt there's times when he's caddying that you can see his competitiveness kind of come out a little bit. He's just rooting for me so hard, and I can't blame him, but I can kind of I wouldn't say throws me off, but it's just like, at the end of the day, when it comes to a caddy, you kind of want him just to be kind of even keeled, not show any kind of emotion, just kind of, just go with it. But at the end of the day, he's my dad. And he's rooting for me so hard. And I love having him on the bag. He's been through pretty much every part of amateur and professional golf you can go through. So the knowledge and the experience that he has, is about as good as it gets when it comes to someone as, walking the fairways with you. So I love having him on the bag. He's going to caddy for me in a couple weeks over at the League Com at Lakewood National, and I'm really looking forward to that. And we've had a lot of success on the course. There's no doubt about that. We've had a lot of good tournaments, a lot of good things happen, and he's like I said, he's great on the bag. I really enjoy having him out there.
Yeah. Kevin Roy is our guest here on It's Party Time, my golf story. Big thanks to Party Drinks. If you're looking for a good drink alternative on the golf course, check out Party and ask for it at the club that you're playing at. And for a list of the different places, you can log on to drinkparty.com. And a big thanks to the real estate professionals, Gene Walsh and Vince Vizzacaro from suncoastdreams.com, a division of Fine Properties. If your dream is to live on a golf course or in a golf resort community, nobody better than Vince and Gene. They can help you out at suncoastdreams.com or call 941-220-4000. Or if you happen to live on a golf course and it's time to sell because the market's really high and a lot of people want to get in, they're your people as well. Kevin, you went there, so I'm just going to follow you there, talking about some of the dark times in golf, missing cuts, losing a tour card, working with somebody to help you on the psychological side of the game. Help me out with something, because I'm of this belief, and I think you share it too. Anybody that plays competitive golf at some time or another is going to hate the game because what it can do to us. What was it like for you when you were at your toughest time?
Yeah, I mean, I would argue with pretty much anybody that says they've never, if someone that's playing it for a living, that they never hated the game before. It's tough. I mean, it's a hard game. It's it can certainly bring you into some low points. I I feel like I've seen the lowest of lows when it's come to this game. It's just, you're depressed. You think about never playing again. How am I going to make money? How am I going to do this? How am I going to do that? It's you get in a super depressed spot. And, luckily I've had, between my wife and my mom and dad and, my brother and sister, they're all huge supporters of mine. And, they've always been there for me. And it's hard. I've quit the game before. Back in 2016, I completely hung up the clubs and got a job. And, at the time I was super happy about it. It was a great decision looking back at it. I worked at a restaurant here up in Tampa. I helped my brother out in medical sales a little bit. And, at the time it made me happy. I saw some paychecks coming in. I was able to, pay off some credit card debt. And, it also lit a fire under me. I kind of realized towards the end of that year that, this isn't what I wanted to do. I want to play golf. I played one event at the end of 2016, a West Florida Golf Tour event, and finished second in it. It was the only competition I played all year, and that kind of jolted me back into let's do this and let's give this one more run. And looking back at it now, I think it was the best decision I've ever made. Kind of getting away from the game a little bit, and kind of it made me realize how much I actually really do enjoy it. Because at the time I hated it. I wanted to get so far away from it. It was ruining me as a person. It was ruining my mind. It was ruining my lifestyle. It was just running me underground, and wasn't happy at all. And it wasn't who I was. And so looking back at it, I think that was easily the best decision I've ever made, was, stepping away for a little bit.
But it brought you back. And God, let me tell you, that is a thoughtful, honest answer from somebody that's thought that through probably a couple of times. Aside from that real good finish on the West Florida Golf Tour, which we've had plenty of other guests that are associated with that, was there a conversation with somebody or something else that was like, okay, let's go back in and maybe do it a little bit differently this time?
Yeah, no, I definitely ran it, past my parents, because, even though I was working a little bit, it wasn't like I was making a ton of money. So, for me to enter, Q school again, it was, I needed their help. Yeah. So, and they were super supportive of me trying to do it again. And they paid my way into qualifying school that year. And, I ended up getting through the final stage. I didn't get full status. I got conditional status. I played maybe 7 events that year. And, it was kind of, a wake up call. I was like, all right, you've proved that you can get to there. Let's do it again. And, went back to Q school one more time and got full status. And, I played, I don't know, I think this is my 4th year on the Korn Ferry Tour now, but, looking back at it, my parents, they've been there for me, highs and lows. But, I definitely, I talked to my dad about it, and he was super supportive of me trying to give it one more go.
So last year, losing your card, I'm sure there's the disappointment in that. But when you stepped away and you reevaluated the season, was there a moment where you said, you know what, if I make a couple changes, just improve here and there, do you feel like that's where you belong?
Oh yeah, there's no doubt. I don't really look at losing my card as a super negative. I feel like I played a lot better of golf than maybe my results showed. I missed 8 cuts by 1. So if, obviously, that's tough to swallow, but, I had some good finishes. I mean, I finished 8th in Bermuda, which kind of, there, and then I finished, a couple top 20s, but, I think I've proved to myself that there's no doubt I can compete. I think a lot of it's, up here in the mind. And, that's what I've been working hard with my mental coach, Brian Kane. But there's no doubt that's where I want to be. To be honest with you, I can't wait to get back there.
Well, your dad described you, he thinks you might be a late bloomer, and maybe that's exactly what it is. You're just one step away. I mean, it could just be like another good season on the Korn Ferry Tour. It could be like a hot run. There are different ways that you can get there. So we're getting toward the end here. Just the theme that I'm picking up on throughout our conversation is the importance of your family in your life. What is a round of golf like with your family? I'm sure there's a lot of love, but is there a bit of trash talking going on? And you describe it.
Yeah.
Take me there.
I would say there's a little bit more trash talking than love going on when, especially my brother and my dad tee it up. My mom, she can play, she can hit it. She, she likes getting out there, but she's more of like a vodka cran in 9 holes kind of girl, or lady, I should say. My sister, she never really got into golf. She's a really good athlete. She was a hooper growing up, but her soon to be husband is in love with the game of golf. Lauren can definitely hit it. She can make contact. There's no doubt, but she just has no interest in playing at all. But when my dad and my brother and I, we get out there, there's nothing but laughs and certainly a ton of trash talk. We're in a group chat actually right now. We're playing in a little money scramble thing this upcoming weekend, and we're all a team, and we're all talking trash, and Kyle is sitting there saying we're going to use all his shots, this and that, and I gotta be honest, for Kyle probably has the best attitude for a guy that averages 78 that I've ever seen. And then my dad, he takes a lot of heat just because he's the old man in the group, so we always kind of kid with him that he should be playing up with the seniors and to kind of have any kind of chance of competing with us. But it's at the end of the day, it's all love, it's all fun, it's all we're just having some fun. But it's nonstop banter. There's no doubt about that.
Well, I'll tell you what, if somebody can't make it one time, or if you have two foursomes and somebody drops out like Kevin Wallach, who I know is now watching the podcast and everything, he's a good friend of your dad's, and you played some golf with him, and you need a fourth with. Can you give me a call? I mean, I'm right around the corner. I'll bring some party. I mean, I bring something to the party.
As long as we can ride in the same cart and have some party, let's do it.
All right. Hey, that's good. Kevin, hey, listen, I wish you all the best on the upcoming season. Really looking forward to the Lecom Suncoast Classic. And God, would that be a good party if you won that? All right. So nothing but the best to you. Yeah. Good times, and have more fun. That's the other thing. Keep family close to you. Don't be a stranger. Keep in touch. All right.
I appreciate it. Yeah. Thank you so much for, having me on, and look forward to, let's play soon for sure. Yeah,
you got it. Kevin Roy has been our guest here on It's Party Time, My Golf Story. For more information about him, you can follow him on Instagram. It's been scrolling across the bottom, ways that you can get in contact with him, or at least follow his story online, and also his sponsors scrolling across there. And a big thanks to Party Drinks. If you're looking for a real good golf alternative, a golf drink for golfers by golfers, Party is for you. And thanks to the real estate pros, Gene Walsh and Vince Fizzicaro, suncoastdreams.com. For Kevin Roy, I'm Kevin Walsh. Couple Kevins here. We'll see you again next time on It's Party Time, My Golf Story. Take care.
You've been listening to It's Party Time, My Golf Story, brought to you by Party Drinks. Classically designed golf drinks for golfers by golfers, and the golf real estate pros Gene Walsh and Vince Fizzicaro. For your Southwest Florida real estate needs, check them out at suncoastdreams.com or call 941-220-4000.
This is Vince Fizzicaro and Gene Walsh with the suncoastdreams.com real estate team at Fine Properties. We've helped hundreds of families find their dream homes in golf and resort communities in Lakewood Ranch, Bradenton, Sarasota, Parrish, Venice, and the surrounding areas.
Let us be your guides to finding your dream home here as well. Learn more at suncoastdreams.com or call us at 941-220-4000.